Sean Doyle. He's from the Save Moore Street campaign. He's also, I think, a bit of a legend who has been in prison for a little while for the water charges. So folks, if you put your hands together and give him a big cheer, thank you very much.
Isn't it a sad indictment in this centenary year that cursed greed for personal profit is determined to smother in concrete the Moorsey battle site? Are we going to stand up and be counted and stop it, or be bystanders? What do you say? The final 1916 battle was as much to win the hearts and minds from subject slaves to aspiring citizens, moreover a military success, which was their objective. For Ireland to stand proud and independent among the nations of the world, and to be determined to be recognised as a sovereign and independent country as defined in our proclamation. James Connolly made some profound statements. One comes to mind. He said, "A man only succeeds to the extent in which he believes." And I say the same for the country. Those men and women of 1916 believed the greater battle was for our own identity, from slumbering slave to awakened citizens. That liberation was a natural burning desire in every full-blooded, freedom-loving human being. The only true expression of our personal fulfillment, genetically linked to our past freedom struggle. All of Ireland and its wealth and resources for the people of Ireland, or as Connolly famously said, we only want the earth. Pádraig Pearse said, "The fools, the fools, the fools, they've left us our Fenian dead." Was he right? Did he have more faith in us than we deserve? I personally know of one village where rebel forces suffered heavy losses. Their bodies were thrown into a sandpit like sheep carcasses and remain unmarked to this day. More credit than we deserve. All these rebels died with pride, so future generations could enjoy the benefits of their resources and the fruits of their labour. More credit than we deserve. We have witnessed an elite of Irishmen, driven by greed, rob the inheritance of our children. More credit than we deserve. We continually vote for them, pay them working man's fortune and pension, while they continue to fleece us and our resources, aided and assisted by their fellow travellers in the EU. And when a few are not elected, they are rewarded for their abuses in Brussels by commissionerships or some high-paying position. More credit than we deserve, as our native fishing fleet are tied up in the harbour, watching out on the horizon as foreign factory ships hoover up our fish and destroy our future stocks. More credit than we deserve, watching law enforcement assisting the theft of our gas and oil and now our water. It is time to earn that fate and stop the native and foreign vultures picking over the bones of the last of our children's inheritance. It is time to earn that fate. Our freedom fighters gave up their lives so future generations could enjoy equal distribution of our natural resources and wealth as Irish citizens. There's always a bustler. More credit than we deserve. The sacrifices made 100 years ago, paid with the lives and blood spilling battle for citizenship, 100 years later to be rendered mere guarantors for their speculative losses, and our children and grandchildren born into subjective debt. It is time we followed the example of our freedom fighters. They faced down their adversaries of their day and made history for tomorrow. Today, it is our time, and the Moore Street battle site represents the rebirth of a nation. It is time to save it from the vultures and develop it as a fitting tribute to those who had faith in us and make it a historical example for future generations. In conclusion, remember, men in suits are more deadly foe than suits of armour. Thank you.
On Raglan Road, on an autumn day, I saw her first.